Hey, how you doing? My name is Ryan, and today I'm making my dream LEGO Marvel sets on a budget by designing and building custom MCU polybags. Now, my experience with polybags, at least with branded themes like Marvel, is that it's far more misses than hits. For every Doctor Strange portal, we get 3 random Venoms and another Captain America bike. But I think LEGO is really missing on an opportunity to create some iconic MCU vignettes without breaking the bank on new pieces or figures. So today I'm making 6 custom LEGO Marvel sets that adhere to the standards, sizes, and budgets of polybags. Now, there are really 2 types of polybags: figure-centric and build-centric. The figure-centric polybags usually don't include any extra parts or pieces outside of the newly designed figure in question. Think the Winter Soldier polybag or Shazam. Build-centric bags focus more on the extra scenery or vehicle and often have a pre-existing figure included. The builds typically are around 35 to 60 pieces, so every piece has to be carefully curated. And while most people only want polybags with new figures, they forget that the build-centric ones allow for new parts and prints. Take the first polybag I want to design, Tony Stark's workshop. The curved desk is really easy to build out with some hinge plates, some light bluish-gray angled plates on top, translucent blue monitors, and a coffee cup. The casual Tony Stark minifigure for this set is pulled right from the What If mech and the Avengers Tower. However, the real star of the show, and the reason I wanted to build this set in the first place, is the new piece I want to add. A 1x1 round tile in translucent blue with an arc reactor print on it. I have no idea why LEGO has not made an arc reactor tile before. We've seen representations of this famous MCU prop in older Armory sets, but never a dedicated tile print. Sites like Firestar Toys have some terrific iterations to add to your collection if you want. There's even a 2x2 round tile stand with the text, "Proof that Tony Stark has a heart," printed on the edges. These are simple designs that I'm shocked LEGO hasn't tried before. Even just some printing on the tiny blue tile piece and some computer decals elevate this Armory add-on polybag into the essential Tony Stark collectible set. This is the kind of must-have LEGO Marvel mini build I think we're missing from the current superhero line, and I think it can be made for relatively cheap. But what about new figures, as polybags are often a great way to showcase revised or upgraded versions of minifigures. So take Spider-Man for example. Given how many polybags he already has, it'd be almost sacrilege not to have a custom web crawler in this video. And one of the best suits we have not seen in a LEGO set yet is Peter Parker's final swing outfit from the end of No Way Home. But before I design the custom torso, I'll piece together a little vignette based on Peter Parker's apartment at the end of the movie. I'll start with a small table in reddish brown, and then a sewing machine on top using a 1x3 white plate as the base, and a 2-length bar as the needle. This is a cute little build, and with some details like a modified plate in red to act as some scrap fabric, and a slightly open moving box, I think this scene represents Peter's new apartment rather well. But let's be honest, that's not why you're buying this polybag, it's for the new figure, so let's make it. Taking his Sanctum Sanctorum suit as the base, I'll tweak the color scheme to be bright blue and red, with some simpler patterning and abs, and of course, a more film-accurate and comic-accurate Spider-Man logo. For the other parts, these simple dual-molded legs, some Spider-Man arms with printing, and the Sanctum Spidey head. Perfect. This is a figure, and by extension a polybag, that I could see being in high demand. We don't get a ton of Spider-Man movie polybags, so this would be an incredible thing to see. And if you want to make your own Final Swing Spidey, you can grab the artwork for free using the link in the description box below. And while you're down there, why not subscribe to the channel for more LEGO Marvel videos like this? Okay, time for our 3rd custom LEGO Marvel set, one I'm calling Doctor Strange and the Eye of Agamotto. The Infinity Stone necklace has been found on several Doctor Strange figures, but only as a print, and while there is a physical version of the Green Stone, the Eye of Agamotto is stuck in the 2nd dimension. So the goal of this polybag is kind of twofold. I want it to be almost like a sequel to the interdimensional portal polybag from earlier, and of course I want this set to be a showcase for a 1x1 round tile in pearl gold with an Eye of Agamotto print on it. Let's open up Studio and use the instructions of the older set as a guide. Angular plate as the base, a more rounded stand for the eye, bracket plate for the portal mount, and I think I'll have the actual portal lead to the Carmitage bookshelf. I'll use a few 1x1x2 bricks with studs on the front to act as the books, and then an ingot for the spine. With some brown plates and some variations in book length, we have a bookshelf. And of course, the eye itself will be a 1x1 round tile in pearl gold with a simple but effective design printed on top. However, the inclusion of this piece will make finding a minifigure for this set a lot more difficult. All of the Stephen Strange torsos have a necklace or brooch included in the print, so that really wouldn't work for our set. Plus, I'm not sure LEGO would have the budget to include a new printed piece with the Eye of Agamotto and a new torso in a polybag set, but there might be a solution in the multiverse. After all, 616 Doctor Strange is not the only Doctor Strange to exist. The Sinister Strange figure has a terrific blue robe print on the torso and legs without any sign of a necklace. So all we have to do is switch out the head, hair, and hands for the 616 version of the character, and we end up with a figure that resembles his training outfit. This figure fix helps lower the budget tremendously by limiting the number of new pieces in the set to, well, 1. And while our new Doctor Strange polybag used that new piece on a tiny tile, our next set might need a new torso. While looking over the Avengers Tower set for inspiration, I came across this Arnim Zola build that references his look in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. It's a nice detail for a larger set, but I think we can build a polybag that more accurately depicts this mad scientist from that movie. In order to keep the budget down, I'm going to reuse the 2x2 sticker of Zola's head, but if the computer build around him is bulky, that might get the visual message across just fine. My first pass of the build was a bit square and blocky, and it makes me wonder if I need to scrap some levels of accuracy for visual interest. Often, I'll design these custom sets from bottom up or front to back. But maybe if I make Zola's screen and monitor first, I can resize the surrounding computer to match the minifigure scale. I think this second pass is better, and while it's still bulky, it's not as square as before. For just under 35 pieces, it's a good enough build that leaves us enough budget for a brand new Captain America minifigure. And for this polybag, I think I'll continue the pattern of not being 100% accurate by having Captain America wear his stealth suit. This is another MCU costume a lot of LEGO fans have been asking for, and the design is relatively easy to make. I'll start with the Infinity War Captain America figure, remove all the red and white, replacing them with dark blue and darker blue, filling in the star as well as adding in these 3 silver stripes on each side. Add in some blank legs and the pre-existing head and helmet, and this is a slick looking Steve Rogers. Now you could argue this polybag might be a bit out of budget for LEGO, and it would work better as a gift with purchase instead, but I think the build is small enough and the budget low enough that it could pass as a polybag. Plus, Winter Soldier is criminally underrepresented in the superhero theme. But what about a Marvel movie that has never had a LEGO set before? The Incredible Hulk, a Phase 1 movie that's kind of getting a resurgence with Brave New World, featuring Red Hulk and the leader. As for what I want to build, well, it's a scene I'm surprised LEGO has never touched before, in either movie or comic version. I'm going to make a polybag of Bruce Banner's lab, and the experiment that turned him into the Hulk. Taking some screenshots from the 2008 movie's opening credits, I think this elaborate white chair will make for a nice build. This is when the piece count ceiling of 60 parts really comes into play. I can't scale this chair down because it has to fit a minifigure inside. Often when I'm designing in studio, I'll have my first step be a random figure to act as a reminder of scale. I can hide the step when I'm building, but bring him back when I need to measure. It's also helpful to build the smallest part of the model first so you can lock in the scale early on in the design process. So looking at this robotic arm with a green light, I could use this Exo-Force mechanical arm and a modified plate with handles on each end to get a substantial but small section of the model done. Working from there, and 51 parts later, I think this Gamma experiment turned out rather well. And as for the figure, well, LEGO has 2 options. The cheaper choice is to grab this pre-existing Bruce Banner figure, but with a bit more budget and a new torso, we can get an Avengers purple shirt Bruce Banner. And while neither is accurate to the film, I'm not sure we'll ever get an Edward Norton Bruce Banner. So let's move on to the 6th and final custom LEGO Marvel set for today, Thor and the Asgardian Throne. I'm shocked that with the Infinity Saga line going strong and the location being a playable level in the LEGO Marvel video games that we don't have any Asgardian sets. The Asgardian Throne would make for an incredible build, but I have to try to keep the piece count in check. I'll start with perfecting the faceplate shapes with these curved edges in dark tan, then layering some pearl gold and bright yellow-orange pieces on top. Then I can move to the tower behind the throne with these inverted side arches, which will be rounded tiles in my build for simplicity. Add a chair, some detail plates, and curved slopes, and this is a slick-looking throne room polybag. There's just one problem. It's 64 pieces. If I want to add a Thor figure to this set, I have to get that part count below 50. How? Well, I can shrink the overall size of the set to reduce the base plate piece count, And before I even touch the throne itself, I'm down to 42 bricks. Bingo! It's really impressive how much every part counts when designing a polybag, and with this lower number, I might even have some extra leeway to include a build of the ether. A gold lantern and some round plates in black, translucent bright red should do the trick. And I think this polybag, while a bit big, is the most realistic out of all the custom LEGO Marvel sets I've built in this video. Mostly because these are all pre-existing pieces that form a fresh take on an MCU vignette. And honestly, working with this tight of a piece count restraint was really fun and challenging, forcing me to use every piece to its fullest advantage. While it's easy to overlook polybags in favor of more elaborate models, there is a unique charm and challenge in their simplicity. Each small bag might only contain a handful of pieces, but if these 6 MOCs are any indication, that's more than enough for professional LEGO designers to flex their creative muscle, creating engaging and recognizable forms with limited resources. Simply put, great things can come in small packages, but I would love to know your thoughts. What was your favorite custom LEGO Marvel set I built in this video, and which scenes or vignette should I design into a polybag next? Let me know in the comment section down below, and as always, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching.